All right, welcome back to another video, guys. It is Saturday, the 18th of January, so we are now 8 or 9 weeks out from PRORAW 15. I'm going to start bringing these training vlogs back again, but they're going to be a bit different. I'm going to do a bit more sort of face-to-face to the camera, mainly because I want to be able to focus more on my actual training through the big dogs prep that I had, and I guess even the PRORAW prep for PRORAW 14. I spent a lot of time trying to film on my warm-ups and all that sort of stuff, and while I think they're valuable, this time around I really just want to focus on my top sets. I want to warm up how I want to warm up. I'm not worried about filming them, not worrying about the angle that I'm going to film them at, any of that sort of stuff. So this time around, I'm just going to be doing videos like this. I'll overlay my top sets throughout the week, and then that way it'll be quicker and easier to edit as well. So like I said, we are 8 or 9 weeks out from PRORAW 15. I should know, but I never really know until we get super close. So this week, my top sets, I had a 210 kilo bench for 3 sets of 350 kilo squat triples, so 2 sets of triples there. We were going to do one, but my sort of first set went really well. So we thought, fuck it, add a second one and just see how that goes as well. Second bench day, chains again, which I love. I was actually preparing for a really heavy chain session, but we just didn't do it. We pulled back a little bit on the chains and then went up on the incline. And again, I'll go over that a bit later. And deadlifts. So deadlifts were the only session that didn't really go that well this week, and I'll explain why. Wasn't like a strength issue or anything, but yeah, I'll go over that a bit later. So main bench this week, 210 kilos for 3x3. Now, going into the session, I felt really good. I've been really good at my nutrition for the last week and stuff, especially getting back from New Zealand, where obviously in New Zealand I ate pies, just whatever the hell I wanted really. It was nice to be able to just not care about how many calories I'm eating, if it's too little or too many. So it was good. So yeah, coming back from New Zealand though, I knew that I wanted to make sure that my nutrition was good, was better than what it was for the end of the big dogs prep. So I did hire a nutritionist. So on Monday, I got my first nutritional feedback and it was really good, really positive. The main thing I'm looking for out of a nutritionist is to just keep me accountable. Knowing that I have to report what I'm eating to someone is gonna do wonders when it comes to actually picking good food. Normally, and anyone who knows me, anytime I'm like, oh, I had a decent session, or man, I'm really tired, KFC, Hungry Jacks, Macca's, massive kebabs, whatever I can. But this time around, I'm going to try and do it a little bit better so my body feels better and I go into, PRORAW 15 feeling really good. I'm currently weighing 170 kilos, pretty much dead on, and this is where we're going to sit. I don't want to really be heavier than this. Being heavier than this isn't fun. It actually just gets like exponentially worse, I felt. But this time around, around 170. I wouldn't be worried for my strength levels or anything like that if I did drop a couple extra kilos, but mainly just making sure I'm staying around 170 because that'll improve my deadlift as well, which is the main thing I want to get back. I want to be a really good deadlifter again, and I'm just not there at the moment. One of the main things I've realized is that I'm just going on a fucking tangent here. I was supposed to be talking about my main bench. Being lighter, obviously better position for deads. I'll go over that later when we cover deads. So main bench, 210 kilos, 3x3. Moved really well, felt really good coming into this session. So I'll put the videos over the top as I talk. So yeah, set one, nothing to really worry about. Good pauses, which is one thing I'm trying to maintain. Try to maintain good pauses throughout every single set. That way I'm not surprised on comp day if I get a longer press call or anything like that, which I usually do pretty well at pausing all my sets. But at the same time, sometimes on comp day, you get a little bit longer pause than what you're expecting. I just want there to be sort of no surprises. If I'm training to comp standards, I shouldn't have an issue. Now, the last set that I did, let's call it a miscount. I did 4 reps. Again, good set, really happy. And it kind of let me know that I can do a set of 5 if I'm fresh, which again is awesome, because that would have been, obviously, set of 5 is a PB. I've done 215 for 4, but that was a bit more, less pauses and all that sort of stuff. But really happy with how these bench moved throughout the entire session. Had some close grips as a back down, and then a few other accessories. So moving on to squats, like I said, top triple of 350 kilos. It went better than we planned. So I've been using the Pioneer, I think the Commander wraps. I think they also used to be called Convicts. So I bought new wraps just to try something different. I really like the Lily Bridges, but they're becoming increasingly hard to get. You can't actually buy them from Pioneer anymore, which is a big shame because I think they're probably the best wraps I've used. Keep in mind I've used 3 different wraps or something, maybe 4. But yeah, I think the Lily Bridges are probably the best wraps I've used. The Pioneers feel very similar. They're obviously really high quality. They feel really good. But I think we're probably going to go back to the Lily Bridges. I'll have a chat with my coach this week. We're still a revolution or 2 off of where the Lily Bridges are. So those 2 revolutions make a massive difference. And as things are getting increasingly heavy, if we can't get the revolutions that we need out of the Pioneer convicts or commanders, whatever, then I just don't think they're going to be worth it going into comp. I don't want to sacrifice any kilos off my total just because I want to use a new wrap. I do think that they're really good, and I think that realistically I should have used them further out. It probably would have been worth buying them earlier, getting more stretch to them. So at this point in the prep, I could actually get the extra revolution or 2, but it doesn't really matter. So both sets went really well. Trying to make sure I'm hitting depth. I've had someone watch my depth. My coach actually watched my depth, and I told him, like, be harsh on it. I don't want to like just sort of pass the depth. I want to make sure that it's sort of undeniable. And it pretty much was. So I do have one hip that sits a bit higher than the other. So I often get a 2-to-1 good squat in comp. So I got him to watch the higher side, or he purposely chose the higher side, because that way if the higher side is good, we know the other one is definitely good. So yeah, just wanted to make sure that I'm hitting depth. Did the first set. It actually felt quite easy, quite comfortable. They're not like lightning fast or anything, but good stability, good everything. Felt really light on my back. It's funny that like 350 used to be such a daunting number, even for a single. I used to think about it all day. You sort of worry, and then even while I was warming up, used to be like, oh my God, that's so heavy. But these days I can just rock up to the gym and know that I've got a 350 kilo squat in me, especially in wraps. And I know that the reps are going to be fine as well. If I need to do them, I know I can get through them. That brings us to our second bench day. So 165 kilos plus chains for 2 sets of 6, which still is still good volume. It ends up being 190 kilos at the top, and it just hits you in such a different way compared to just doing straight weight. It's kind of crazy. Now, I'm glad we did that because we wanted to push the inclines a little bit more. So for inclines, we went 180 kilos for 2 sets of 6. Now, last week I did 175 kilos for a set of 6. It was pretty hard. But I had also done a much heavier chain bench session, 180 plus chains for sets of 4. So I knew that this would be a little bit easier. And it was a little bit easier, but it was also still kind of heavy. Like I said, the chain bench really takes it out of you. So I've done 180 kilos for 1 set of 8 on the inclines before, but that was after I was either perfectly fresh, I think I was perfectly fresh, or it was after some light sort of overhead press. That doesn't tax you anywhere near as much as what chain bench does. I knew that 180 for 6, for 2 sets of 6 after the chain bench work is really good. It's if I can get through that, I know I'm stronger than what I was before, and before I inclined 500 pounds. So I know that if I can get through these heavier sessions while being a lot more fatigued, that's just nothing but a good thing. So yeah, another good session. We called it there. On my second bench day, I just do the chains and the inclines. I don't do too many accessories after that. Just sort of don't need to. So it leads us on to deadlifts. Now, coming into the deadlift session, my back was a bit sore, and it's not the usual sore. So I know just because I'm going to get asked about it, it isn't the same sore that I had at Big Dogs when I hurt my back. I've had this pain before, and usually what it means is I've slept really weird and my neck's out, and my neck, my traps, everything gets super tight. So what happens is when I'm deadlifting, from the floor to about my knee, my back, it's just pain all the way through my mid to upper back. And as I get to lockout, from knee to lockout, it's fine. That pain disappears. As I put it down, it's sort of the same story where it's knee to ground where it actually hurts. But then when I fully relax is when it hurts the most. So I booked in a session tomorrow morning actually, to get it all checked out. One of the biggest mistakes I feel like I made with my Big Dogs prep was when things were sore, I just let them sort of drag on a little bit until it got to a point where I was like, okay, now I need to do something. Where if I had the issue and I went straight away, then I could probably get it sorted straight away and then not have to worry about having sort of weeks of uncomfortability before going and seeing someone. So the plan was 300 kilos for 2 triples. I did a single, which I'll play, and you can see I go to set up for the next rep, but like I said, as I relax at the bottom, it just hurts through my back. It just feels like kind of like a pulling pain sensation. And so I just called it. I went, yeah, there's no point. Like, I'm not going to bother. 300 kilos was still really easy. My technique felt really good, actually, all through the warm-ups and everything. And one thing that I think I'm going to try and do going forward is I used to be a really explosive deadlifter. I used to go up to the bar and pull it as hard as you can and just don't stop until you're either done the rep or you basically pass out. And I think I've lost that. In getting heavier and having to try and adjust my technique, I think I've slowed down my deadlifts to try and get a better technical sort of deadlift. But I think while that's good in a way, that's not how I deadlift and that's not where my strengths lie. I think my strengths lie in a really explosive deadlift. So from next week on, provided I feel okay, I'm gonna start going into deadlifts with that mentality of I need to pull every rep as fast as I can and as hard as I can, and just see where that sort of takes me. Because that's how I like deadlifting. That's how I've always deadlifted, and it's obviously given me great sort of, I guess, success up until now. So yeah, got to make sure that I go into the session not thinking I've still got to do 300 for a triple, but let's try and focus on the technique. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll make sure the technique's there, but then pull the shit as hard as you can. So that's basically it. That was my week of training. Like I said, eight or 9 weeks out. Really, really happy. Obviously, deadlifts didn't go to plan, but I'm not too worried about that. I can always, like I said, get my back fixed and then go from there and come back next week, hopefully stronger. Anyway, yeah, I'll just leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.